This being a gambling focused pods, we're always about value and where we can make money. So we want to kick things off with dark horses. So we're not talking about the chalk here. We're talking about the Bucks at plus 1,000, the Ravens plus 1,100, Seahawks plus 1,300, Steelers plus 2,200, which is crazy when you think about where that was maybe 6 weeks ago. The Titans plus 2,800, the Rams plus 3,300, the Colts plus 4,000, the Browns plus 5,000, all the things they've got going on, the Washington football team plus 10,000, and the Bears the same way. So that is a buffet of teams, Cam. When you look at that, who do you think has a chance out of that group to maybe make a run?
Out of that buffet of teams, there's only one king, right? And there's only one person that you know not to bet against when you play football, and that is Tom Brady. That is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. To be honest, seeing him come back against the Falcons, I was reminiscent, right? I was reminiscent, showing that he could do it at the Patriots and at the Buccaneers. He's going to cause some problems in the playoffs.
And Adam, for me, it's the Steelers, who I've kind of been on all season long. Even during this 3-game slump that they were on in December, I'm looking at the bracket, right? It looks like it plays out pretty well for them. They get Cleveland this week, who's dealing with a bunch of COVID stuff. No Kevin Stefanski, no Joe Patino. They've got a bunch of other guys that are going to be out this week. If they win this one, we'll see what happens between Buffalo and Indianapolis, because I'm not convinced the Bills win this week. If they can beat the Browns, maybe they'll play the Colts in round 2, and all of a sudden we get the Steelers getting on a little bit of a roll. So at 22-1, I really, really like the Steelers.
All right, am I crazy? I want to throw a team out to both of you, and they just won on like a doink, and that wasn't great. But the Titans at plus 2,800, we'll talk about in the picks. But you've got, last year, right? The Derrick Henry formula. I mean, that was there. So Cam, as you look at trying to duplicate success from a year ago with riding Derrick Henry, what kind of chances? If I'm rolling with the Titans, what kind of chances you giving me?
The Titans are a great pick unless there's snow. If there's snow, they're in trouble. They play the Packers, and those guys had a lot of trouble. So as long as they stay out of that cold weather, they'll be just fine.
My only problem with the Titans is that pass defense is so bad, and it might not get exposed this week against the Ravens. It actually lines up pretty well for them this week. But if they get into round 2 and they're playing the Chiefs, and it's pretty much likely who they would play in the second round of the playoffs, it's just a terrible matchup for them. And then if we get further on and they're playing Pittsburgh or they play the Packers in the Super Bowl, I just don't think that pass defense is good enough to get them to the Super Bowl and win it. I do think they could advance a round or two if things work out well for them.
Okay, so we've hit on dark horse teams. By the way, I really feel for the Browns.
Oh, it's so rough.
And this is it. Maybe before we move to our non-playoff group, like the Browns haven't made this thing in almost 2 decades. It's an amazing story, and yet here they are. They've got a COVID outbreak. Stefanski not going to be there. Hits their offensive line. Cam, like what do you do here if you're Cleveland, other than you've got a rematch that you almost lost, but you won? And so, what kind of chances do you give the Browns, considering what the last few weeks have looked like for them?
Browns have beat the slump, right? They made it to the playoffs for the first time in a long time. They're riding pretty high, I believe. The Browns fans are unbelievable. So go ahead and give them a chance. I think they have a high chance here to make a run for things. I mean, Baker Mayfield, first-round draft pick. I mean, we've been waiting. It's time for Baker Mayfield to show up. You got a great running back in the backfield. You got 2 of them. So you can pass the ball, you can run the ball, not too bad.
Marcus, I know you're the Baker guy. Like,
whoa, I feel like I'm the Baker guy. I didn't know that.
Well, we are a Baker podcast. This is a Baker-friendly podcast. Excuse me. I won't go as hard in. It's a little different. We're morphing our fandom from Phillip Rivers to Baker. But we talked a few weeks ago about maybe not getting the appropriate love, and like this is kind of maybe an unfair legacy game, I guess, coming into this. Would you say that's appropriate?
Do we remember what happened in week 16, Adam? This team couldn't beat the Jets. I know they were without a couple receivers. I just think, listen, this is the one team in the playoff that has a negative point differential. Like they don't beat good teams. They don't blow out bad teams. And now you're playing in Pittsburgh against a team that has a ton of playoff experience, against a future Hall of Famer in Ben Roethlisberger, one of the best coaches in the league in Mike Tomlin, and you have to do it shorthanded. I'm completely out on Cleveland this week. It's a great story. I'm glad they made it to the playoffs, but This team's not ready for what's about to happen here on Sunday night.